I'd like to call to order the regular meeting of the village board. Roll call, please.
Trustee Lundin.
Here.
Trustee Forster. Here. Trustee Takaoka.
Here.
Trustee Oppenheim.
Here.
Trustee Marquardt.
Here.
President Cook.
Here. Okay, we have a quorum, so the meeting has been called to order. Would you please stand if you're able for the pledge? Okay, first item is citizens wishing to address the board. Are there any citizens that want to address the board on something other than what's on our agenda tonight? No, okay. Then we will get to our stuff under the village presence report, and it's all about our Vernon Hills royalty. So if the Kalinowskis want to come up here and help us out with this.
Hi, my name's Haley Kalinowski, and I'm one of the co-directors of the Vernon Hills pageant.
And I'm Karen Kalinowski. I'm the other co-director of the Vernon Hills pageant.
Yeah, we first just want to come up here and say a few thank yous. First of all, to the mayor, Mr. Cook. We wanted to thank you for being present at our pageant and playing along and answering a pop question for us on stage. It was really fun. It was great to have him there, and we hope to have you present in pageants in the future if able.
He did a really good job of answering the question on the spot, too.
Yes,
I'm not going to lie.
100%.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
We'd also like to thank the whole board and the village trustees for all of the support that you've had of the pageant. It really does mean a lot to us. Specifically also John Petrello, Christian Dorvac for all of her help, and Mike Stordo, who took the video of the pageant and posted it online. So if you weren't able to attend, you can still watch the pageant. And now we'd like to recognize our past queens, our runner-ups, and our current queens of the Vernon Hills pageant. All of these ladies did a great job on stage, and we're so proud of them and can't wait to recognize them at this meeting. So
I was going to say we had 18 contestants this year, which was a great turnout. We did our past queens promoted the pageant. They were all over the village putting our posters up, so they did a fantastic job of getting the word out to have a successful pageant.
yeah, so first of all, we'd like to welcome up our Little Miss Vernon Hills 2024, Evelyn Volley.
Sure.
Yeah.
Hi everybody, my name is Evelyn Bully, your Little Miss Vernon Hills 2024.
Next, we'll welcome Junior Miss Vernon Hills 2024, Savannah Goodman.
Hi everyone, I'm Savannah Goodman and I was your Junior Miss Vernon Hills 2024.
And lastly, Yael Pikus, our Miss Vernon Hills.
Hi everyone, my name is Yael Pikus and I was your Miss Vernon Hills 2024, and a huge thank you to the village for everything this year.
Yeah, so we hope that you guys know of these ladies. You've seen them around town. They did an incredible job this past year of being our Vernon Hills queens and going to so many events we can't even count. And we're just so proud of them and love for them to be recognized. I think the board has something for you guys.
Yes, we have something for you, ladies, if you'd like to come up.
He doesn't bite.
Evelyn, yours, Savannah. Yeah.
You guys can take a picture if you want.
Oh, yeah, mom's back. If you want to go take a photo, we'll get out of your way. They're paparazzi.
All right, thank you guys.
And thank you very much, ladies, for everything you did this past year. We really appreciate it.
All right, and now we'd like to recognize the participants in our 2025 pageant, and we're going to call up all of our runner-ups and new queens that are present. Our Little Miss second runner-up was Sierra Goodman. Our Little Miss first runner-up was Addison Stevo. And your new Little Miss Vernon Hills is Jimena Anda. All right, and next is our Junior Miss second runner-up, Leah Torres. Our Junior Miss first runner-up, Pari Kurana. And she wasn't able to be here today because she's in Tennessee, but our new Junior Miss Vernon Hills is Kate Anderson. All right, and then also we'd like to recognize our 2 runner-ups for the Miss category that weren't able to be here. Our second runner-up is Aisha Along. Our first runner-up is Olesia Lazuda. And your new Miss Vernon Hills 2025 is Victoria Berta.
Yeah, the parents want to take
Yeah, you guys can
photos
take
and-
pictures too.
well, yeah, we'll get one.
Yeah, move into the middle.
Yeah. Thank you guys again very much. We
And-
appreciate everything.
Yeah, well, thank you for the 2 of you doing an outstanding job of directing the pageant, and everything, just went extremely well. It was a
It
very,
did.
very
It
good
was,
pageant.
it was a good day. It was,
Yeah.
we can't wait for next year, and we can't wait for these girls to be part of all of the village, Park District, all the events in Vernon Hills. They do a fantastic job for the year. So thank you
Thank
to
you.
the village. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Now, as always with this kind of an event, we'll take a moment here. If you'd like to leave, you don't have to stay for the business part of the meeting. You may if you wish, but we don't require that. So,
It is very interesting. Not. See, Dave.
And cleared out the room.
Are you ready for next week's chief? Pine Meadow, the grades are in great shape. I played there 3 weeks ago. The grades are in really good shape.
Don't even.
Oh, really?
You said Cuneo?
well, Kate Anderson, the junior miss, the father was in the.
We'll know after break.
And he turned to his son, he's gonna say to me,
The report.
that's exactly what I did. Okay.
It wasn't a trivia question. It was
No.
Yeah, do it at some.
They do it in Sullivan?
Yep, yes.
Are you like an honorary judge?
No, wouldn't,
Who are the judges?
couldn't get me to do that. Yeah, they had standard judges and everything. It was very-
I don't
Do they have a lot of
They run a great, yeah,
They had 8,
yeah,
was it 18?
and they ran a great pageant, so.
Yeah.
All right,
Interesting.
so anybody on staff volunteering for a speaking part? Otherwise, I don't have one listed. Okay. All right, then the next item is the omnibus vote agenda. Items under the omnibus vote agenda are considered routine and/or non-controversial and will be approved by one motion. If anyone, board member, staff, or citizen wishes to have a separate vote on any item, it will be pulled and voted on separately. Is there a motion to approve items A through F?
Motion to approve A through F.
Second.
Motion is second. Any comments or questions about any of the items? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Lundin.
Yes.
Trustee Forster.
Aye.
Trustee Markwart.
Aye.
Trustee Oppenheim.
Aye.
Trustee Takaoka.
Aye.
President Cook.
Aye. Motion carries. There is no unfinished business. Correct. So we'll move to new business. First item is approval and passage of Resolution 2025-035, a resolution approving a modification to the outdoor dining permit for Hacienda Real, 371 Town Line Road. Director Jennings?
Thank you. Hacienda Real opened with, sorry, get my slide. Hacienda Real opened with the patio of the former Chili's, which is a 32-seat patio on the side and a semicircle. You can sort of see it hidden behind the yellow box there. They have requested an expansion of that patio to, should accommodate 56 seats. You can see the rendering of the proposed tables and umbrellas there. They plan a decorative fence with masonry pilasters and sort of that open aluminum wrought iron style. Representatives of the restaurant are here to answer any questions you might have. Staff has no objection to this. It's not evident from the rendering, but it does leave adequate space in the sidewalk for clearance entering the store from the parking lot.
Hi, most of us know you, but if you could state your name for the record, please.
Yes, my name is Roman Rosales. I'm here to present a request to extend our outdoor seating. And I think that will give us an opportunity to offer more options to our guests and basically just be more mindful of people that want to eat outdoor. Also, so they're like be more, sorry, I'm very extremely nervous talking in front of you. But so basically just want to present more options to our guests.
Okay. Any comments or questions from the board? No, this looks like a pretty nice modification, and
It's a
yeah, looks like it should work very well.
great idea. We were just there on Friday. It was delicious, by the way. Karina was very nice.
Thank you, thank you.
And I was there on Saturday, and it was very nice.
Well,
The environment's great.
like I've said several times, the most amazing thing is if you were ever there when it was Chili's and you walk in,
You wouldn't realize
done-
it was
yeah,
a
you-
Chili's.
you've done such great
Done a nice job at
great
transforming.
renovation of the inside. It's amazing.
Right, and if we do that to the outside, that will be even more amazing to us and our guests, obviously, so.
Okay, well then.
Great.
Okay, in that case, is there a motion to approve or resolution 2025-035?
Motion,
Go ahead.
motion to approve.
Second?
Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Oppenheim?
Aye.
Trustee Lundin?
Aye.
Trustee Forster?
Aye.
Trustee Takaoka?
Aye.
President Cook?
Aye, motion carries. So,
Thank you very much, everybody.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
okay, next item is approval and passage of resolution 2025-036, a resolution approving a modification to the outdoor dining permit for Yard House, 950 Milwaukee Avenue. Director Jennings.
Thank you. The outdoor dining area for Yard House, the beer garden, was approved as part of their special use permit originally. The restaurant, as they were getting ready to open, submitted a request for televisions in the beer garden area. At the staff level, we felt that it was appropriate for us to approve the wall-mounted televisions, but the televisions that are post-mounted at the perimeter of the fenced beer garden area, we thought was enough of a change to the outdoor dining area that we should process it as a modification so that the board could review it. What you have here is the existing condition photo of the beer garden area, and then you've got the details of the televisions. There would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mounted on the perimeter, and the rendering of what it would look like from the outside, sort of photoshopping in one of the units there. So with that, we do have representatives of the project to come forward and answer any questions that you might have.
Hello, my name is Steve. I am with 41 North Contractors, and we are representing the Darden Group, who owns the Yard House. they couldn't take a quick flight out here to make the meeting, so I volunteered. I'm from Chicago.
Where's the Yard House?
Oh, Orlando is where they're headquartered. Yeah. Yeah, they're a $25 billion restaurant group. They're
Based
they
out
do, yeah, they're based out of.
First Yard House.
That I don't know, not sure, but they're very successful. They're very good at what they do. Yeah.
You mean around here?
No, I know Glenview's had it the
California,
longest.
I believe.
There's one in, they're all over
California.
Vegas, they're all over the place.
Darden's huge. They're all over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, digress. I was just curious.
So they want to add the 5 TVs on the west railing. It will be facing the building, so the backs will be away from the residential area behind them. They're 55-inch TVs just around the perimeter.
Yeah, so I was gonna say they're about 55 to 50.
Yeah,
With
yeah.
the dimensions.
Yep, and they do have a couple speakers out there, so I don't know if these TVs will be muted at all times with just music in the background, but, yeah, I'm just here to represent them, so.
I wish the owners were here. I was actually a little disappointed. Wanted to watch the NBA Finals game there, and they said that they weren't playing
Really?
the sound at all. We're going to show the game, but what's a game when you're not listening to it? So I'm a little curious. Are they planning on playing sound on these TVs, or is it just going to be music like it was in?
I would think music, but I could definitely get that answer.
Yeah, I'm just not sure why even bother, putting up TVs if you're.
Yeah,
not
I
gonna
feel
play
like a
the
lot of
sound.
beer gardens when I go to them once in a while. They, it's always muted and it's always music in the background, so you don't,
but-
unless it's like a major
Football game,
sport.
But the one thing with a standard sports bar is one of the reasons you don't do sound is quite often you'll have different games on different sets.
I
Correct.
get that. but-
And so it wouldn't be the same.
I totally get it, because like in Scottsdale where my son lives, there's a whole big outdoor, there's TVs, they don't have the sound on, you're just watching different games.
Yeah,
Right.
they-
And
they'll-
if you're
they
watching
may-
a sporting event, you don't need the commentator.
I would imagine what you would have would be like if you had 5 different football games, if one of them was the Bears game, you'd have the sound for the Bears game.
Request for closed
And the other
captioning.
4 would be,
It's just the way it is.
at least for the beginning of the season, then later on.
Yeah.
But the NBA championship game, the final game, you're not going to play this.
That would probably be one I'd have sound on.
Exactly.
Agreed.
And I spoke to the manager and he said no. So, so
So you want to table this till we can find out about the sound?
Yeah. Should we fly, tell them Orlando they gotta come in?
We
for the first
should,
meeting?
yeah.
send the manager back in and apologize to me for not doing it.
Tell them next time closed captioning for Dr. Oppenheim, so then at least you can read it.
Get
Fair
some
enough.
headphones and then,
Oh, yeah. you can
With
get
my
some
whole
Bluetooth
group of people?
headphones. Okay.
Well, it could be a simple amenity to add, Wi-Fi headphones that
Yeah.
you hand out at the door. Any other comments or questions about this from the board? Okay, all right, then is there a motion to approve Resolution 2025-036?
motion to approve.
Second.
Motion second. If there are no other comments or questions, roll call, please.
Trustee Oppenheim?
Aye.
Trustee Takaoka?
Aye.
Trustee Lundin?
Aye.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Forster?
Aye.
President Cook?
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Yep. All right. Next item is approval and passage of Resolution 2025-037, a resolution authorizing the execution of a First Amendment to the license agreement between the Village of Vernon Hills, the Vernon Hills Park District, SMP Development LLC, and the Vernon Hills Soccer Club for use of fields 10, 11, and 12 at the VHAC.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm actually going to cover items 3, 4, and 5 in a presentation. Please feel free to stop me along the way if you have any questions. But before I got into that, all 3 agreements pertain to our Vernon Hills Athletic Complex, or the VHAC as we know it, and just wanted to give a quick overview of the property. We're all familiar with the area, but in case you're not familiar with some of the intricacies that are out at the property, there's actually 3 different layers of ownership out there, as some of you know, between the Village of Vernon Hills, District 128, District 125, and District 103. These three agreements cover the village-owned facilities at the VHAC, which include fields 1 through 12. Fields 5 through 8 are actually owned by District 103, but the village leases those from the district. This also incorporates the concession stand, Nike Parkway. We have some storage facilities out there, 396 parking spaces, which we added back in 2024. So that's just to lay the land for context for this conversation this evening. Agenda item number 3 is an amendment, a first amendment to our turf agreement that the village entered into back into 2020. As the board remembers, in 2020, we constructed turf fields on fields 10, 11, and 12 out at the VHAC for just under a cost of about $2 million. The construction of those fields was a group effort in cooperation with the Vernon Hills Park District, the Vernon Hills Soccer Club, and a company called Sports Made Personal, or SMP. And in 2020, the village entered into a multi-party agreement with all those entities to govern basically the funding of those turf fields. In that agreement, each respective party was to put forward dollars over a 10-year period in exchange for a licensed use of those facilities. The Vernon Hills Park District was agreeing to put forward $75,000, the Vernon Hills Soccer Club $300,000, and SMP $900,000. Back in 2022, SMP sold their company to a larger national youth sports company called 3 Step Sports. And with that, the village and 3 Step have been working to make this amendment to the agreement to transfer the rights and obligations of SMP onto 3 Step Sports. So with that, one of the main changes that is coming forward in the first amendment is an increase to the license fee for 3 Step Sports. That's going to increase from the previous $900,000 to $1,342,500. And there's a couple of basis points behind that increase. First and foremost, these payments would begin with the installment that's due this August in 2025. And the increase is really meant to help capture a couple of things. The first was to help recoup some of the original construction costs of the turf fields. When this agreement was put together originally, there were some after-the-fact costs that came to fruition, and so the original dollar amount went up by a few $100,000. So one, this is helping to recoup some of those original costs. Two, the additional dollars recovered from this agreement will help put money toward the future replacement of the turf fields. There's usually about a 10-year lifespan on that carpet. We're about halfway through that right now, so some of those proceeds will be used for the future replacement. And then third, because 3 Step Sports is primarily a private company, the use of those fields is for a private nature. We were able to do kind of a market study of what a typical hourly rate for usage of those fields are, and this new payment term brings that fee more in line with a competitive marketplace in the Chicagoland area. The term of the agreement remains the same, so it still goes through 2030. There is, however, the addition of a 3-year option at the end of the period to renew for an additional 3 years through 2033. And to clarify, there are no proposed changes to the terms for the Vernon Hills Park District or the Vernon Hills Soccer Club as part of this First Amendment. So that's for item number 3. Are there any comments or questions on that? Okay. So items 4 and 5 both pertain to 2 large tournaments that we host out at the VHAC. The Pipe City Lacrosse Festival, which is actually going to be taking place this coming weekend, and the Chicago Cup Soccer Tournament, which happens over Labor Day weekend. Both tournaments are operated by 3 Step Sports. They're very large tournaments. Both bring in over 200 teams to the Vernon Hills community. The proposed agreements for each respective tournament are for 5-year terms. They also include an option to extend the terms for 3 years at the end of the 5-year term. The Chicago Cup Tournament, I'll note, is in affiliation with the Vernon Hills Soccer Club, so there is a somewhat of a local connection for that tournament that's held over Labor Day. In terms of the pricing for these agreements, mainly what we did with these new tournament agreements is we helped to outline the roles and responsibilities of the village versus the tournament operator. We've had a lot of opportunity to kind of learn over the years on what works well when it comes to operating these tournaments, and so we use this opportunity with these new agreements to really outline which obligations the village would have versus the tournament operator. And with that, we've been able to help separate some of the costs as well. And so, as you see in front of you here, these are the proposed price tables for each tournament for the next 5 years. There's a 3% annual increase proposed each year as we go through. And the pricing for each tournament is really made up of several components. The first is we were really trying to achieve a cost recovery of the village personnel that goes into these tournaments. There is quite a bit of public works and police activity that happens at these tournaments to get them set up and then operate through the weekends. And so we wanted to use this opportunity to really try and work towards getting more of a reimbursement of those direct costs that we're incurring. However, keeping in mind that these tournaments are bringing in several hundred teams with each tournament, and there is an economic impact to Vernon Hills. The formula that we used for this was a 75% cost recovery. So we're not getting reimbursed our full cost of personnel expense, but we're proposing a 75% reimbursement to offset the 25% quote-unquote economic impact that we're getting from the tournament. We're also charging $10 each tournament for each parking space out the VHAC, so 396 parking spaces times $10. In addition to that, there's a charge of $500 for each field that's being used, not including the turf fields. So the turf fields are all going to be covered by the turf agreement on item number 3. We're just covering for the tournament agreements the remaining fields that aren't governed by the turf agreements. So that's 5 fields at $500 a field for the tournament. And then for the Pipe City tournament, there's a 10% administrative fee to cover the logistics and personnel coordination. We waive that fee, however, for the Chicago Cup tournament, considering that there's the local affiliation with the Vernon Hills Soccer Club. And then, as I mentioned, a 3% annual increase for each tournament. So that's my review of items 3, 4, and 5. They're all recommended for approval. Our staff has been working pretty hard on these for the last several years as we work through some logistical challenges with American Hotel property and pandemics and change of ownership for various companies. So we're happy to have these before the board finally for hopefully approval this evening.
Okay, any comments or questions from the board?
Okay, so we should probably take these one at a time, so starting with item 3, Resolution 2025-037.
Okay, all right, then is there a motion to approve Resolution 2025-037?
Motion to approve?
Second.
No motion, a second. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Forster? Aye. Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Oppenheim?
Aye.
Trustee Takaoka?
Aye.
Trustee Lundin?
Aye.
President Cook?
Aye, motion carries. Is there a motion to approve Resolution 2025-038?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Motion second. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Takaoka?
Aye.
Trustee Lundin?
Aye.
Trustee Forster? Aye. Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Oppenheim?
Aye.
President Cook?
Aye, motion carries. Finally, is there a motion to approve Resolution 2025-039?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion is second. Comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Oppenheim?
Aye.
Trustee Takaoka?
Aye.
Trustee Forster? Aye. Trustee Lundin?
Aye.
President Cook?
Aye, motion carries. Okay. No other new business, correct?
That's correct.
Does anyone have any communications or anything they would like to address? I'd just like to say thank you to everybody that worked on 4th of July. That took even a little extra work with all the problems at the beginning in that. So everybody from the fire department, police department, the public works people do incredible stuff. And then staff here and people from the hall just put in an incredibly long day. And even though we had the problems we did with the parade, the fireworks were spectacular. I've had numerous comments from people that it's one of the best displays they've seen in a few years. So thank you to everybody that worked on that. And since we won't be meeting again, don't forget we've got Vernon Hills Days coming up a week from Thursday. So we'll get fireworks again, and should be some great entertainment. Anybody else have any communication or anything? And there is no closed session or
Correct.
committee of the whole,
No
correct?
closed session this evening.
And no committee of the whole?
That's correct.
All right. Then is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Thank you and good night.
Close.